You'll notice that today the video is a little bit later than it normally is. Normally I've been releasing these videos on Mondays, and I've been trying to keep that up as a weekly goal. But I had something come up that prevented me from getting the video done exactly when I wanted to. And I'm having to force myself to be okay with that. The reason why I couldn't do it yesterday was because I had a whole lot of other work that actually took priority, and this is something that happens a lot, where you've got multiple responsibilities and some that are higher priority than others. We've got school starting next week, and so I've got a series of videos that I needed to get redone so that it can be prepared in time for class. Now, if I was going to try and fit this video in, it would have either taken time away from my class prep, or it would have taken time away from my family in the evening. And I wasn't willing to sacrifice either of those, and so I've had to have a little leeway, and this video is coming to you a day later. And I want to talk about that a little bit, because for a lot of people that's difficult. When we feel like we've set goals or we've set things that we need to do, it's hard to be able to let go of one in order to accomplish another. But it really does come down to setting which is the higher priority. And sometimes you do have to let things go, if only for your own mental health. I've had way too many nights where I stay up all night long trying to make sure I hit my goals from that day, and it ends up making me more exhausted into the next day. And so it's about finding that life balance. I'm not perfect at it. I'm still even trying to get it remotely right, but hopefully this information will help you to progress as well. But it's something you need to work on. It's about setting the priorities, making sure the things that have to get done, and the things that really don't, even though sometimes we tell ourselves, well, they have to get done. Well, they really don't. Sleep needs to be a priority. Family needs to be a priority. Something else should give first. Part of what I'm talking about this for is that we have this perception of ourselves as somehow lacking at times. I want you to take a moment and think of your to-do list as if it's a garden. Think of each one of the items that are on there as an individual plant within the garden. Now, one by one, they do have significance, they do have value, they're helping you, grow, they're helping you develop, but overall, you have a much larger goal in mind, and usually with a garden, that's trying to generate enough food to eat or to somehow sustain yourself. So if you have one carrot that's really big and another one's a little bit smaller, together they're still part of a meal. Right now I'm going to cut to some video of my cabbage garden. And the reason I want to show you this is because my cabbages are not all coming up the same. I've got some that are beautiful thick heads and others that are more leafy mass with a small bit of balling in the center. And that could be frustrating if I was looking at each and every individual cabbage and expecting it to be perfect. But that's not my end goal with these cabbages. My end goal with these cabbages is to make sauerkraut, because I love sauerkraut and I love sauerkraut on my bratwurst. And so when I'm looking at my garden, rather than getting frustrated at each individual cabbage that's not forming into this perfectly formed, beautiful head, I need to remember that overall, I'm succeeding. Overall, I'm going to have enough cabbage so that when I go through the process of making sauerkraut, there'll be enough there. Now, we tend to look at our goals and our daily tasks in the form of, I need to get each of these perfect, when in reality we don't. That's where that prioritizing comes in. There's certain goals that are a higher priority, certain goals that are a lower priority, but they all work together to help us achieve our larger goals. If you can't be perfect at everything, it's not something to worry about, it's not something to stress about. You need to just focus on what you can do and make sure that you're not missing out on the more important things in life, such as family, sleep, eating, being healthy a little bit. And so I encourage you to take the time to reprioritize. Take a look at your goals. Figure out what your larger goals actually are. Look at your day-to-day goals and tasks and see which ones are there to help you achieve that longer-term goal. My longer-term goal, yes, I want to make sure my game studio gets off the ground. But more than that, I want to be a good husband. I want to be a good father. And those take priority sometimes. I also have a day job. I need to be a good teacher. And sometimes that takes priority, such as yesterday. So as part of this, since it's a day late, I want to share with you a little bit of what I was doing yesterday. I was working on redoing the videos for my 3D Modeling 1 class. This is a class that takes people through the entire pipeline and process of 3D content creation. Now the videos normally I have them on YouTube, but I usually have them locked so that only students can access them or see them. But I've decided to start making these public for a couple of reasons. The first is so that people have a resource to go to for the foundations, for some of the fundamentals of 3D production, but also to try and help raise awareness, let people know that I do have a program out there, and if you're near Central Ohio or near the Columbus area, you can come to Columbus State and take classes with me and actually get more than just what's in the video content. You can come to the classes, get more hands-on experience, as well as getting more advanced courses that go into higher end procedures and generations. So I'm going to put the link below to the videos, or you can just simply check the Bawden Studio YouTube channel to be able to find the playlist for the 3D content. So far I've only got the first module up. By the end of this week I'll have at least one more, if not two more. So, I encourage you to check that out. As far as progress with Electric Flow, we're coming a long way. We've gone through quite a few iterations with Electric Flow's UI and with the user experience. And so hopefully by the end of this week, if not this week, definitely by next week, we'll have a new system in place. We've made a transition from the original idea where we wanted all the controls and everything to be built around just touch controls on the character. And I prefer that. I really like having those adjustable controls that are all located in a central place. But from our user feedback, people want something that's much more responsive and much more clear. They want separate buttons for separate functions. And so that's what we've done. We've built in additional UI elements so things should be easier to access and easier to control. We've also turned Kit into a helper character where you can tap on Kit and get more feedback and information about what you need to do, and that way we can remove that from the regular dialogue that we added in after the first iteration and feedback. So, keep your eyes open, and hopefully the update will be something that you really enjoy and that works for you. And as always, please continue to send your feedback. We'd love to hear it, and it's helping us to try and make something that's even more powerful than we could have just on our own. So, thank you. Hope you have a good week. Bye.